Right, so you've seen the process of the bike coming in. It's been into the workshop and we've inspected it, cleaned it, got it on the ramp for initial inspection, servicing, all that kind of stuff. Now it's time to bring the bike to the market through our online website and Auto Trader. So this is our picture spot. We've got our lovely sign on the wall. There's a certain way that we do the pictures. We like to remove the stand, get the bike product like put up at the side, leant against the wall with either the wing mirror or the handle. Now, I do the majority of the picturing. I've pictured over 500 bikes. I like to think that I'm quite good at it. Make sure it lines up. So as you can see, no stand. Bike rested against the wall. I'm just gonna put this in a touch. There we go. Step back. Right, so to me that's looking perfectly central. Also just got to make sure that my camera's nice and clean. Right, so the bike is definitely nice and warmed up now. Open up the video, just wipe my camera down again. Right, detailed video of the bike, any marks, any blemishes. For this particular bike, like we've seen earlier on in the video, it did have damage. We've replaced parts. There's still some marks on the bike. But the fact that we give full transparency, that's how we run our business and how we aim to market our stock.
Now we're going to get the Yamaha MT-07 bike advertised that Josh has created the advert for. He's done all the picturing. So now we're going to go on to pricing the bike. So first of all, I'm going to bring up the item to see what the mileage is. So if I scroll down here to Yamaha, Suzuki, Triumph, not working, I'll click that. And as you can see here, it's currently unadvertised. As you may be aware, as we talked about earlier in the video, this particular vehicle is actually a category D. So this will affect the retail value, although it has got some positive points for it. It's a pretty clean bike. It has the odd mark on it, which obviously will be from the category write-off. But we do get vehicles that are non-category write-offs that have the odd mark here and there. For a 9-year-old bike, you know, it's not uncommon. The good things this bike does have going for it is the mileage. It's only done just under 8,000 miles. So that's going to be the positive. The negative is going to be the insurance marker. So to publish a bike live, we need a price, and then we can go live through here. So first of all, I'm going to walk you through how we price the motorbike. So the main site we use to price vehicles is Auto Trader. Sometimes I'll use eBay if there's not a lot on Auto Trader to compare it to, but that's where we advertise all our stock on Auto Trader currently. So we price it on there as well. So first of all, I'm going to sort low to high. Now, Auto Trader likes to do it to relevance, which is their algorithm for people that they can push and charge a fortune on advertising on. We always go low to high because we like the bike to be sitting correctly within the market. National search because we deliver all over the UK, and then we're going to start with some refinements. So first of all, we've got the Yamaha MT-07, and then there's further restrictions we can do from here. One of the more common restrictions I use as well is the year. So yeah, as I was saying before, we just got a phone call. One of the most common filters that I use is also year. Now that would depend on the model of the bike. Now I know from the top of my head the Yamaha MT-07 is a really popular selling bike. Example is a generation 1. To show you what I mean, so if we go into MCN Yamaha MT-07 and we have a look, click back here, you can see some of the other variants that they did on the market, and I think it actually goes further back than 2018. It goes right back to 2014, so I don't know why they've only got it from 2018 because there wasn't any real revisions there, but maybe that's when they tested the bike. But anyways, I know that off the top of my head, but if I didn't, this is one of the areas that I would use with their million adverts to check what region is. So I don't need to put that filter on. And the other key thing is the mileage. Now, I always go up a little bit in the mileage. This is done just under 8,000 miles. And I go up to 15 because like it has got the insurance marker. So that could be a determining factor as well. And then the final one will be trade sellers. As we don't compete with private sellers, we offer facilities that private sellers don't offer, like warranty, finance, delivery, etc. And it just wouldn't be relevant. Although it would be great to advertise with, compete with private sellers, we wouldn't be able to keep the doors open. So if we have a look here, low to high, just double checking. The cheapest one currently is at Big Moto with just under 11,000 miles at 3,889. And then we've got from here 3,990, 4,200. So, I mean, I'm already seeing that this bike needs to be under £4,000. It wants to be one of the cheapest to help shift it. Now, let's say if this bike wasn't an insurance write-off, for argument's sake, it's got no exhaust on it. We could arguably ask up to £4,500 for it. Yeah, 4.5, 4.6. They've both got no exhaust. So yeah, this was a mint example. Not on the insurance database. I would be asking sort of £4,500 retail. But yeah, as we both know, that isn't the case. So going back up here, I think what we'll do is we'll start it at 3,790, and then we'll see what sort of interest we get. So we go back to dealer portal here. Vehicle details. I'm going to type the price in here. As I said before, my colleague Josh has done all the previous parts, so it's all good to go. All I need to do here is go down to advertising pricing, click publish to Auto Trader and our website, save changes, cap stock. So we don't have enough spare slots to advertise the bike currently. So if I go back, I'm going to remove something like the Chirono here that's not doing as well, and we do a little bit of rotation in winter. Just makes it a little bit more easier. So if I go back to MT-07, advertising pricing, we go live there. I know it still says that message, but if I refresh the tab, you'll see that that now has disappeared. So that's bike all live and advertised. In a couple days time, well, after 24 hours time, but we normally give it a little bit more than that. We can look at the performance rating, and we can see how the market's responding to the current vehicle, see if we're getting a lot of interest, and then we can decide to adjust the price accordingly. This will go either red, yellow, or green, and there'll be like a little bar that moves in between there. So that's one of the metrics that we use to adjust the pricing. We'd also sometimes price check it again, but this one will be a little bit of an odd one. And then finally, just to see where we're at from a cost perspective, because it has been a little while since we touched on this bike. So you see here, these are all the items when we're comparing original items or brand new from Fowler's or used or alternative elements. So you can see here, we've got the driver's seat used, £39, which saves us £100. We've got the rear side tailpiece, we've got that again, half price, used, £35. The tail infill, again, used, £9.77. The air intake we got used again for £45. The indicators, we just used some aftermarket ones, that's £9.99. The screen, there was none available on Fowler, so we got one on eBay, that was £17.99. And the rad cap cover, there was none on eBay, so we got a brand new one for £24. That brings our grand total with an oil and filter and a rough approximate for labour to £278.65 in total. That particular bike cost us £1,900. So if we were to sell it for $3,790, the potential profit would be that minus that £1,890. That's before our cost of sales. So if we wanted to figure out what it is after cost of sales, that minus that, be looking at approximately £1,600 profit, which is great for a bike of this value. However, having said that, it has got a few little niggles on it, and there's a little mark on the engine casing, which we may address at a later date, and there is a mark on the left-hand tank fairing. Well, we decided we're not going to address that because the part itself was £150, and it's not going to add £150 to the value. It is a Category D, and it will be priced accordingly, and it is a used bike. So the profit as a percentage, if we were to sell it for £3,790, would be that divided by that. Yeah, 49%. So yeah, if we could have 50% margin on all bikes, we'd be absolutely laughing. But that's not, the standard parameters. But that's one of the reasons why we did decide to purchase this particular bike, because it was extremely cheap given the mileage, and regardless of its matter. Even if we ended up selling it for what, £3,500, which I think is easily attainable, you're still looking at a £1,600 margin pre-cost, £1,300 after, it's still 45%. So yeah, either way, we should be laughing on this one, unless something unforeseeable pops up. But we'll check back in a little while, see how we're going with it. hopefully Dean can capture some inquiries on the bike, and we can get you the start to finish on the sale of this vehicle. Thanks for watching.